All right, welcome everybody. You are the brave few who made it through the rain all the way to, you made it. We're grateful to have you here. For those of you who are new, welcome. And for those of you who have been before, welcome back. We're very excited to have you. My name is Chris de Koning, and together with Michael Collier, who we just met downstairs, we run these sessions, Founders and Funders. Today we have two very exciting speakers. And it's also a special edition because we will be hearing from Sebastian Johnson, who will be talking about the opening of Model Labs. But first we will start actually with Carolyn Hicks, who is co-founder and CFO, COO of Brill Power. She's an engineer and an MBA as well from Oxford. 2 times Ironman finisher, I've been told, and recently as well an exited entrepreneur. So we're incredibly excited with the 2 speakers that we have today. Then without further ado, I would like to invite Carolyn to talk us through Brill Power and the exciting things that you're doing.
Wonderful, thank you. Hello everyone. I'm Carolyn Hicks. I'm a co-founder of Brill Power. And when Christian asked me to come and speak, I thought, why not? Founders and funders, my 2 favorite people to talk to sometimes. And so I'll start with a little bit about myself. I'll talk about the company, and then just a few key thoughts that I wanted to leave behind for founders and funders. So this is me. That's used to be from our landing page. This was the Brill Power senior management team before we exited. So yeah, myself surrounded by a bunch of white dudes, a very classic set of funders, set of management. But just in terms of how I got there, I never expected to be an entrepreneur. I know a lot of entrepreneurs. They have this urge from when they're young to start their own thing and be their own boss and be the entrepreneur. That wasn't me. I liked problem solving. I liked math. I liked physics. I became a civil engineer, did engineering consulting, got super excited by transportation, how cities are built. And then I realized that cities are actually built by finance and economics and politics and things that are well beyond system design and transit grades and all sorts of other fun technical things. And so I wanted to move into infrastructure finance, but I needed to learn a bit more. I went and got my MBA thinking I would move into infrastructure finance, but accidentally became a battery entrepreneur, the natural way it goes. I met my co-founders who were studying here. They already had the invention in mind, and then we joined forces to create Brill Power. Brill Power, okay. I won't spend forever on this, but I am very happy to talk about batteries to whomever would like to talk about batteries. But I thought I would just unpack what's inside of a battery pack so you can understand what the Brill Power portion is. We all know we've got batteries, we've got them in our phones, laptops, but they can get bigger and bigger, and they can get to like a grid scale container size, like shipping container size battery packs. This is the market within which we work. Electric vehicles would also be a similar size system. So if you start on the top left, this is a container size system. Those can be broken into cabinets. That gets you into the middle. Once you're inside a cabinet, there are drawers. Inside a drawer, there are cells and electronics. Electronics and software, that's where Brill Power does their piece of work. And so this was where we've always focused on our innovation. We make something called a battery management system. It controls the cells. It's a hardware solution with software embedded onto it. And the benefits of having a better controlled battery system is that you can have a longer lifetime, you can reduce your maintenance costs, you can have higher safety, you can meet different performance standards. It's effectively the brain of the larger operation. That's all you need to know about batteries, but I'm happy to chat more. Our journey began in 2014. So in 2014, actually just like right across the road here, my co-founder's supervisor came into their office and said, if you guys can put a good idea together, you can go to this conference in California. And they said, it's pretty rainy. I would love to go to a conference in California. I won't spend forever on this because I need to stick to time. But when you put an exited company's journey on a single slide, it looks very textbook. You know, we filed a patent, got a bit of funding, some pre-seed funding, first pilot grew the team, first product grew the team, Series A funding, launched a software product, launched a second product, and then we were acquired just like as it goes from the textbook. But I can tell you at no point in any of these years did it feel like I was living a textbook journey. It's like everything was a new crisis, a new challenge, what's happening, who's involved. And only once it's finished and you do a lovely press release and a jazzy LinkedIn post do you get this quite textbook journey. But we did go through all the standard stages. I could chat about all of these for a very long time, but this is where we came from. We very much were a classic story of Oxford Tech received Oxford funding, then grew to more institutional funding. Our Series A was led by L&G and Barclays Sustainable Investment, and then we've exited in a trade sale to a company that makes battery packs. I thought to myself, what is the single message that I would want to give to both founders and funders? And the key thing, is perseverance. Like every stage is hard. And I am willing to acknowledge that it's hard for both funders and for founders, although I have a lot more things to chat about with my fellow founders. But we are better together. We can't build our businesses without funding. Funders can't have great exits without their founders, but both need to persevere through some pretty difficult stages. So I'm just going to talk through a start, a middle, and an exit, and the key things that I would want to have heard at the beginning when I was a founder, and the things that I now wish to tell the funders, those that are here. At the start, as a founder, perseverance is so critical because nobody knows who you are and what you do or if it's going to work. Every founder has stories of various types of rejection. I remember sitting in a meeting and doing this pitch that I thought would landed so well, and it was well within the funding criteria of the investor. And, at the end, they just said, why don't you guys just go and get real jobs? And I was like, which slide should we go back to? And I thought we were so taken aback by it. And afterwards they said, oh, do you want to grab some lunch? I was like, no, I want to leave and not think about this ever again. So I guess as a founder, you have to take every opportunity and be very comfortable with rejection. Therefore, you have to solely believe in your vision because pretty much everybody around you will, at some point in time, doubt you. Your friends will doubt you. Your family will. You will doubt yourself, your founders. So there's so much doubt in that early stage because there is very little to run on, right? You don't yet have traction. You don't yet have your fulsome business case. You don't yet have so much. So you really have to believe in yourself. And then funders, I really wish funders would take many more chances. At the beginning, the founders, maybe they're repeat founders, so maybe they know, but we don't really know what we're doing, and you guys know that. So if you see a pitch and say well, I wonder what these guys could do with 40 grand, but they've asked for 300 and I can't really get that much, use your experience and ask them. Say, well, what would you do if I had 40 grand available? They would happily go away and figure out what their milestone would be at 40 grand. So if you could maybe take more chances, use your expertise to see what might fit with the type of funding you have available, you'll know better than they do, right? They're going through it the first time. You've been through it so many times. And also, please just be faster. That's a theme throughout. Can we please stop wasting time and just be a bit faster? Okay, in the middle, what kind of perseverance is needed in the middle? If there's one thing that is consistent across every founder's journey is change. And your team is changing, your market's changing, your customers changing. For us, the biggest thing that changed since we started was the market itself. And so the market for lithium-ion battery packs changed drastically. Our innovation was developed in 2014. And so you can see here the cost of cells and packs was in the sort of 715. I added those wrong. 715 pounds per kilowatt hour, dollars per kilowatt hour. 10 years later, we're now at 115. And so the products that we were designing, which were hardware products, the cost of electronics has changed a bit, but not nowhere near this has. And so this change was difficult to adapt to. It was difficult to predict. It was difficult to understand the influences. COVID was in the middle. Manufacturing challenges were in the middle. It was just a continuously ever-changing market that had nothing to do with, does our technology work? Can we deliver on our R&D timelines? Do we have a first adopter? Did we get a grant? This is all about, market and customer. Will they buy it? Are they looking to the future? Do they care about lifetime anymore? Because they see this trend dropping. Who cares what a sale costs now? Because in the future, it's going to cost, nominal. Yeah, so we learned to generate options. We probably could have generated more than we did. How are we going to adapt to this ever-changing situation? And then prepared those, discussed them with our senior management, took them to the board of directors. But this is the dynamic with the funders now. So our funders ended up sitting on our board, as many do. It's a difficult dynamic to go to your funders to say, hey, that thing we told you we were going to do with all that money you gave us, we don't want to do that anymore. We actually want to do this other thing, but we think that's going to be great because look at this chart. And so as a funder, being open to the change that your team is suggesting is the only way to persevere through that change, which is constantly moving. And it doesn't mean that founders should be able to sort of flippantly change direction, because we notoriously get interested in lots of different things. But they are well suited. We are well suited to understanding our market and to coming up with the options that might take us into a better direction. And then the second one, I didn't quite know how to get the right words on this. We've seen our market and the investment into our innovation space, kind of our niche space, get easily distracted. So, we have built a tech and built a team, and we need to adjust our technology and offering and where we're going with it. But I think it's easy from the outside to say, like, well, why would I get these guys to adjust when I can just go to this new shiny product, this new young team that has all these promises, and therefore they can deliver something better? And that may be true, but, as this market changes, don't forget to look at the team that you already have and see if they want to maybe amend what they're working on. All right, this is the last piece. Start, middle, end. Remember what the point is. Yeah, this one was kind of a surprising part of getting to our exit, actually. So as every founder will tell you, and the founders here will know, it's a very difficult journey for many reasons at various stages along the way. And that could be related to things that are going on in your life personally. It could be related to your team, to your fundraising, to your products, all those things. But when you began, you believed in your vision, you had a very specific mission. And so you need to remind yourself what exactly that is, because when you get to the end of your journey, it's really easy to get caught up in the finances and the legalities of what you're working on. It's very easy to forget what exactly you're trying to accomplish and what you wanted to achieve. And many negotiations has these kind of a ridiculous, well, I don't know if it's ridiculous, this brinksmanship around, well, if I don't get this clause in place, then I'm walking away. And that is often a feature of negotiations. And so you better know what your terms are, and that you are willing to walk away around some of them. And we had that as our founding team. We had certain terms that we just, we would rather close the company than sign an agreement that included certain clauses. And all of a sudden, that clause is okay, right? So remember what your mission is, remind your team, remind your board of directors, right? They are there representing their own interests, but they are on your board to serve your board and your company. That is actually their primary purpose. So the more you can remember what you're there for, the more likely you are to get the exit that you're looking for. And so my final request to funders is just to be aware of how your actions are resulting in how your businesses are spending the money that you've given them and the time that you are awarding them, which is also money. So, we're all part of one pie. And so if everyone can just remember that, we're better together and that we're working together towards accomplishing something, I really think that it will be a much better off outcome. And that was needed for us along the way. There we go. Final slide. Thanks, everyone.
I would like to welcome Sebastian Johnson of Ecosystems at Harwell campus and our group to tell us about Model Labs, which is a really exciting new initiative that's opening at the moment?
Thanks, Christian. It's good to be here. What we're doing today is announcing this brilliant new asset, really, to the whole of Oxford, and that's Mother Labs. And Mother Labs kind of really resonates with what Carolyn said. Mother Labs are plug in and play laboratories and write-up spaces. So it's like Carolyn made a really great point about if you're a founder, you don't want to be bothering with stuff that isn't relating to the company, to the business, to growing the business. And so what we're doing from a real estate's really boring, really boring. I'm so sorry. But from a real estate perspective, I've got a couple of real estate professionals in the room with me, so they can answer any proper questions about real estate. But real estate's really boring, but actually creating easy to access labs for early stage companies is really important. And it's interesting because we spoke to founders, we spoke to funders, which is why we're here. And they said something that's missing in the market in Oxford are those easy accessible labs where you can come in, where you're a small team, you can come in, get support, have a lab technician working with you, have someone do all of the stuff around the gases you might need coming in, the equipment you need, shared facilities, shared fridges and stuff like that, and even someone to wash our lab coats. That's what we need. We just want to be the founders and the scientists that are getting on with doing the science. So we've created Mother Labs. They're at Arc Oxford, which is a brilliant campus, which probably many of you haven't even heard of, but some of you have. Great. Arc Oxford is a 15-minute scooter ride from here up in Cowley. And it's a campus that's got great qualities because we've got a whole load of science organizations and different organizations on there. Let me just touch on a few of them. The one that really jumps out on here is Organox, because many of you will have heard of Organox because of the sale of Organox in the last few months. Last year, Organox sold for £1.5 billion. Now, not every company does that. Clearly, not every company does that. But Carolyn's company, Brill Power, have been acquired. And this is what we're scaling for. This is what we're scaling for, and this is what we're aiming to create and support: is small companies growing in size on our campus, starting in Mother Labs, then scaling up into a slightly bigger space that we've got on the campus, scaling up. And that's what we've done at Arc Oxford, and we've done it at Harwell as well, and we've done it at our other campuses in West London. And we're doing this Mother Labs here, not just because founders and funders have told us to do it, but because we've done a similar thing in London in our Hammersmith campus, Arc West London, and it's been really successful. We've seen companies raise finance. We've seen companies grow from that initial tiny offering into bigger space, from kind of lab bench to commercialization. That's what we're seeing, and that's what we're trying to facilitate here. Now, our chief finance officer, I should tell you, when we pitched this to him initially, kind of his words were kind of, no, it's not going to make money. And and I know it's hard to say this, but for us, in many respects, yes, we have to make money, and Brookfield Asset Management don't record this bit. Brookfield Asset Management, who are our owners, want us to make money. Of course they do. But I think we've got to think about the wider ecosystem as well. How can we help create companies that in the longer term will scale and grow? And that's what's in it for us. We want to see companies scale and grow to the scale of some of these has. MASc Therapeutics is doing great work in the therapeutics world. Soloxium and Fluoroc are two chemistry-based companies that have spun out of the university. Fluoroc's growing really quickly on the campus. The list goes on, and you'll see some other partners on the campus which really add to the ecosystem. If you're coming to our campus, you get access to the whole of the ecosystem in Oxford, which includes, of course, the university. We're collaborating with the university. We're collaborating with the bioescalator just up the road, who have done a similar model on bioscience. But also we've got the NHS on our campus. We've got others on the campus, and it kind of adds to that ecosystem across the whole of the city and the wider county. But within the campus, you've got tons of stuff as well. So it's a great place to be. I know for many of you, the city centre's the golden place. But if you get on a scooter, and who doesn't jump on a scooter? Even I jump on a scooter nowadays. It takes 15 minutes. On an electric bike, it'll probably be 10 up to Arc Oxford. So it's a great place. And as I said, we've done it in Hammersmith. It's been really successful. We're going to be doing it in Harwell as well. And what we wanted to do today was just kind of announce that this is coming. It's going to be live in June. It's going to be easy access. Another point to Carolyn is, we're not going to be giving you tons of lease papers for your board to be looking at. A simple license agreement is what we're aiming to get. It makes it easy for funders, makes it easy for early stage companies to come in, grab that lab bench, get the technical support they need, be surrounded by peers and potential mentors and other organizations. That's what we're doing. It's going to make a difference, and we're very excited about it. Listen, the bottom line here is that real estate's boring, and we don't want founders to have to spend tons of time thinking about, where do I find lab space? How do I get this lease sorted? How do I get my lab coats washed? How do I change the CO2 or the other gases and bits and pieces that we have? What kind of liquids do I need? How do I order them? All of that stuff is going to be done for these founders. We'll do that for them. You're in partnership with us, and it's about you brilliant scientists, you brilliant innovators, you brilliant technical people. It's about you people focusing on doing the amazing stuff we do in Oxford around actually finding solutions to the world's greatest challenges. That's what we want to help, and that's what we're doing at ARC Oxford. And so you're going to find out more about it in due course. There'll be a card, I think, with contact details in the pub as well. Anyone's interested, come up and have a look. It's being built right now as we speak. So it'll come online in June, and we're really excited. It's going to be a game changer, I think, for the city, and something added, an extra for innovators, for founders, and for funders as well to look at. I'll stop there.